right here, where justice is served, the Norman Goldman Show. But first, let's talk to Jay. Jay, you're on the Norman Goldman Show. Thanks for calling.
Hello, calling from Michigan, where we don't yet have a single-payer system, but thanks to a new change in the law, we have a single-grower system.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Single grower of what?
A single grower of cannabis medicine, and that leads to my question I have for you. Need some of your legal analysis.
I'm all ears.
You know how Obama has ordered the DEA to stop raiding the legal cannabis clubs?
Well, and the FBI.
It seems they've gone instead, and they've started going after the activists who supply those clubs, and I'm one of them.
Well, the bad news that I have to give you as the lawyer answer is they have that right. The Supreme Court, legitimate or illegitimate as the Supreme Court is, the Supreme Court ruled, I think it was 3 years ago, that the federal government has the right to enforce federal marijuana laws irrespective of state laws. And we're just stuck with that. Now, George W. Bush was using precious FBI and DEA resources to bust everybody in states that have medical marijuana. This president, President Obama, announced early in his administration that, and I agreed with him 1,000%. He said the FBI has better things to do than to go busting people who are using medical marijuana. Now, Jay, you're telling me for the first time, this is the first time hearing that the president meant he's not going after medical marijuana patients, the individual people with cancer and back pain and all that stuff, but now he's going after the growers. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, the Michigan law provides for caregivers to enter into the illegal market to procure cannabis, to divert it out of the illegal market into the legal market. And so basically what I've been doing is taking pot off the streets and doing better police work than the cops themselves.
Okay. And so, did you get arrested?
Yeah, I got arrested in Ohio, and the unfortunate thing about Ohio is I want to go jury trial, but it turns out there's a million things I can't do, and I'll be going in front of a jury with both arms tied behind my back. Like I can't tell a jury about the mandatory minimums that I'm facing.
Right.
Can't bring the DEA in to testify.
And I don't think you can even say it was for medicinal purposes. I think you got some real problems.
Yeah, I mean, I should be able to bring in the director of the cannabis club that, this stuff belonged to.
Yeah, this has all been...
The jury.
Well, Jay, the bad news is this has already gone through the federal court system. And the Supreme Court has already ruled, and you need a really, really good lawyer who's licensed in those jurisdictions. I'm only licensed in California, but you're going to need some very, very able legal help. And what you also need is outlets like this that can bring publicity to this, because this is an outrage. I don't want my tax dollars going to persecute you. We need our government resources. Jay, if we haven't noticed, the government's going bankrupt. The government's running $1.5 trillion budget deficit. The Republicans keep saying it's all Obama's fault. For us to be using federal government tax dollars to be persecuting people like you is outrageous. It's outrageous. That's a violation of the president's word that he was not going to do this. I would encourage you to get a hold of all the media outlets that you can, and if you'll send me an email to norm@normangoldman.com, I will do my best to get you as much publicity as I can, because the administration needs to knock this off.
Yeah, this is crazy. The basic legal question I have is we've got states now where it is legal, and how is it possible to transport it from one state where it's legal to another state where it's legal? Is there any documentation I could carry with me that would allow me to do that?
No, it's illegal. And under federal law, it's illegal to possess marijuana. It's illegal to sell it. It's illegal to smoke it. It's illegal to transport it. I mean, and that's federal law. And the federal government is its own sovereign, is its own entity. And the fact that states, I mean, look, California may legalize this stuff this November. I'm working to make it happen. Washington State, Oregon have efforts underway, which I support a lot, to try and get legalizing marijuana. Even if it's legal for state purposes, that just means that the state police, that local police authorities can't come after us. The feds can still do it. And this has already been answered. There was a trial, and I can't remember the man's name. I think it was Rosenthal.
Rosenthal, yes.
This was a trial in federal court in San Francisco maybe 4 years ago. And one of the reasons I remember the case so much is that the brother of Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer, who is himself a federal judge in San Francisco, was the judge presiding over the case. And Mr. Rosenthal was prevented from many of the defenses that you, Jay, were just talking about. And when he was convicted, and then the jury found out all of the other facts that they were prevented from hearing, the jury revolted. And they wrote a bunch of letters to the judge saying, this is outrageous. How can you let this happen? How can you keep all these facts from us? And the judge then, when it came to sentencing, sentenced the man to probation and let him go.
Yeah.
But this is outrageous. I mean, send me an email. Jay, send me an email, norm@normangoldman.com. And let's see what we can do about getting some publicity. The administration has something to answer for if all this is true, and I have no reason to doubt that it isn't.